Good morning. My name is Donna Raven. I'm a member of this congregation, and our service leader today is Nikki Norman, also a member of this congregation and a chime minister. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Saco and Biddeford. This service is being live streamed and recorded. For those joining us on YouTube, we encourage you to have a candle or chalice to light when we light ours here in a few moments. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we are glad that you are here with us today. The theme for the month of March is trust. We invite you to carry that theme with you as you are with us today and into your daily life when you leave here. We commit to be co-stewards of this land owned by the Wabanaki Confederation and to work toward a world that is just and thriving for the whole of the web of life. We invite you to take home the order of service for information and announcements, or you may leave it for recycling as you exit the sanctuary. At this point, please silence your cell phones. There will be a social hour in the parish hall after the service. Please join us.
How about now? Okay, yeah, and for those of who aren't aware, Janine Wilson ended her earthly journey on Friday afternoon. A longtime member here, raised her kids here, brought her grandkids for years. We've watched the grandkids grow up too. But Janine was always a ray of sunshine, always positive, and involved in so many different things. And I know her voice will be missed in the choir, and I know her voice will be missed in our congregation as well. May her memory be a blessing. And now, if you could take the hymnal and turn to page 388. I spoke with Janine's daughter. She said this was a piece that Janine loved, and she would love to have us sing it today. Paul will play it through once, and then listen to people like Peggy who have sung it before. And I believe this was actually sung at Janine's bedside on Thursday. So thanks, Paul. Please join me as we light our chalice. This is our sacred promise to gather together in peace, to seek truth in love, to serve human need so that all shall grow in harmony with the divine. Good morning again. Have some opening words by Reverend Gretchen Haley, whose writing has become a real favorite for me. The shadowed silhouettes of two people holding their hands together to form a heart. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here. We'll make a space for it. We'll give it its due time and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains. We promise no magic, no making it all better, but offer only this circle of trust, this human community that remembers, though imperfectly, that sings and prays, though sometimes awkwardly. One moment here. I'm using my laptop here. I've never done this before. Sometimes singing awkwardly. This gathering that loves, though not yet enough. We're all still practicing after all, still learning, still in need of help and need of partners, still becoming able to receive all this beauty and all these gifts we each bring. Come, let us be together today. And now please stand and join us in singing hymn number 20, Be Thou My Vision.
This is the moment in our service when we invite people to share what is in their hearts, whether it is a great joy or a deep sorrow. It's not a time for announcements or political statements. If you wish, please come forward to light a candle, tell us your name if you like, and share your joy or your sorrow with us if you choose to do so. Please hold the mic in front of you so that people can actually hear you. I hope that you can hear me. I'm going to start by lighting the first candle. This is a candle of joy that our younger son, Will, is out of ICU at Maine Med, where he spent 4 days this week with what turned out only to have been a cardiac scare rather than a massive heart event. So, if you have a joy or a sorrow at this time, please come forward.
Hi, my name is Catherine Ann Martin, and I light a candle for a great joy today because I am thankful and joyful to have my family here with me, my mom, my brother, especially my girlfriend. And I thank her for introducing me to this church, and it makes me so happy to be here, and it just makes me feel like being myself all the time, and just seeing all you people here, it gives me tremendous support. Thank you.
My name is Randa. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have a feeling that many of these candles are for Janine, and mine is. And also for the caregivers, including the members of this church, and especially our caring connection team who give and give and give. May we remember them and care for them in the best way we can as well.
Realized I got that slightly out of order. Sorry. So I'd like to invite you to join me in an attitude of prayer. Great Spirit, creator of all, we gather again today with joy and gratitude, but also with pieces and parts that are worn out and worn down, and wanting again to trust, to believe that hope is not as fragile as it sometimes appears. And so we lit our flame earlier today as an act of faith, a reminder, a redeclaration, a rekindling of the trust that darkness can't ever shut out the light, that kindness is more powerful than we know, that humility and accountability allow us to change, that together we can most certainly bend the arc of this miraculous universe toward beauty, toward justice, toward love. Be with us today in our concerns and our sorrows. Be with us today in a world where things don't seem familiar. And send a special blessing to David Marshall and to Janine's family and for all of us. I'll say blessed be and amen. And please join me with him on hymn 1002 in the teal hymnal, Comfort Me.
is from the Reverend Gretchen Haley. It's called This Act of Faith. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way. As if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promise of making sense or turning out the way we'd thought. As if we are not also actors in this still unfolding story. For this hour, we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all already figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here, in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make a space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage, forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith. That we believe still, a new world is possible, that we are creating it already here and now. So be it.
Yeah, this is a morning of trust for me, trusting that everything is going to be on my computer, trusting that the power isn't going to run out, and it still shows that I have about 90% power, so I think we're good. Yeah, my printer ran out of ink is what happened. I usually go from paper, and I thought, no, today I'm going to have to graduate and use technology. So the inspiration and many of the words today are from a Reverend Dr. Sandra Fees. And I don't really know much about her, but I want to find out more because I really like what she has written. And I think the reading that Donna just shared with us, I think that's about trust. Trust is the word that it came to me over and over when I was listening to that reading. So from Reverend Dr. Sandra Fees, she begins like I often begin with some quotes from famous folks. And I remember being amazed when I was at CHIME, the Chaplaincy Institute, that every religious tradition in the world has some version of the Golden Rule. And it's that was a revelation for me. And here we have some very different voices saying similar things. Ralph Waldo Emerson says that self-trust is the first secret to success. The first secret to success. He also famously says, trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe similarly advises, as soon as you trust yourself, you'll know how to live. Golda Meir, 4th Prime Minister of Israel, says, trust yourself. Create the kind of self that you'll be happy to live with all your life. Create the kind of self that you will be happy to live with all your life. Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement. And an ancient Buddhist saying teaches, be ye lamps unto yourselves. That sounds pretty biblical to me as well. Be ye lamps unto yourselves. Be your own confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves as to the only lamp. Surely the Buddhists didn't mean the only lamp, or maybe they did. And in his book called Blink, Malcolm Gladwell advocates for trusting one's gut. He explores the idea of thin slicing, he calls it, to demonstrate the accuracy of snap judgments. Thin slicing describes the ability to identify patterns based on thin slices of experience. And according to him, there can be as much value in the blink of an eye as in months of rational analysis. He uses the story of psychologist John Gottman to illustrate. In a study of couples staying together long term, Gottman was able to predict within 90% accuracy in less than 15 minutes if a couple would still be together 15 years later. That 15 minutes it took him to make that determination is a thin slice. And Reverend Fees says, when I think about all the times I misjudged a person or situation when trusting my gut failed me, when I think about all the times I misjudged a person or situation, when trusting my gut failed me, I can't help but have some doubts about the wisdom of these various thinkers. I've made snap judgments about others that have turned out to be unwarranted, and I've trusted people who turned out to be untrustworthy. I've made errors on the job, thank you corporate America, said hurtful things to other people, betrayed others, lost my temper, that's a big one for me, acted with impatience, failed to complete projects that I started, made poor relationship choices sometimes, and trusted my intuition, at which times turned out to be simply about my own self-interest or unconscious biases and prejudices, which sadly I only recognized after the fact. And I tell you all this not as a confession of a deeply flawed person. There's nothing in this list of mine that sets me apart from other people. Most of us have found ourselves in these and other similar kinds of situations in which we were unreliable in some way, failing to do what we set out to do or falling short of being the kind of person we hoped to be in that moment. And so a fundamental question is, how can any of us trust ourselves when we have insider knowledge that we got it wrong so many times? Surely the Buddhists didn't really mean the only lamp. And the more I grapple with that question, the more I have come to ask some slightly different but related questions. Why is it that so many leading thinkers and sages offer the wisdom to trust yourself and to be your own confidant? What's the nature of the trust that they're describing? What are we to trust ourselves to do or to be? Well, therein lies some clues. The point of trusting yourself isn't that we will get it right every time. And I'm going to repeat that line. The point of trusting oneself isn't that we get it right every time. This is where we sometimes get self-trust the most wrong. After a series of slip-ups, self-doubt and shame can take over. We can be awfully hard on ourselves, and I own that as well. Self-confidence and a sense of self-worth can get eroded, leaving people second-guessing themselves and even worrying endlessly about what everyone else thinks of them. That ever happened to you? Rather than being about getting it right every time, what if trusting oneself has to do with the ability to bounce back, to be resilient, to overcome a slip-up or failure? Let's just stop for a moment. Stop for a moment and think about it. Not one of us is going to get it right every single time. Not one of us. To trust oneself has to be based in something more than having a perfect track record. To trust oneself has to do with coming to believe that we will find a way to be okay, even when we get it wrong, despite the uncertainties. And it also has to do with having the courage to learn to grow and to trust again. Writer and artist Leslie Ralph says, "You don't need absolute certainty to know that you'll find a way to be okay. Just remember to begin from living and breathing the truth, this truth, that you will find a way to be okay, no matter what." I have no idea what I'll be doing in 5 years, what my house will look like, what I might do on the weekends, how my cats are doing, or if I'll put some color in my hair. I don't think I'll do that. But I do trust myself to make the call when the time is right. I don't know all the whens, wheres, or even hows, but I do know how I want to feel and what I hold nearest to my heart. I'm not letting my fear that I won't be okay or be enough or that I'll choose wrong or that people will disapprove to suck the life out of living anymore. So go ahead, universe, surprise me. I'll be okay, no matter what. The belief that you can be okay no matter what is the very essence of trusting yourself. It's also the essence of trusting the universe, God, the foundation of love that guides and sustains our living. To trust in ourselves is to believe that we can and will find a way to be okay no matter what. Rabindranath Tagore, the Indian poet, describes this sense of being okay as being fearless in facing dangers, having the heart to conquer pain, and maintaining one's own strength amid our struggles. Fortunately, this belief that you can be okay and that you can trust yourself is something that can be cultivated. Trust in oneself can be developed like a muscle. And even when it's been eroded, it can be regenerated. To trust oneself is truly to start anew. There are two ingredients to building this trust muscle that I want to highlight, and these are Reverend Fee's words. They are loving yourself and knowing yourself. These are the pillars that undergird self-trust, loving yourself and knowing yourself. Love of self is a fundamental religious value. Love of self is a fundamental UU value. The first and the seventh UU principles together tell this story. The first principle affirms and promotes human worth and dignity. The worth and dignity of every person. Each and every person, including you, matters. Other people matter too, but so does the individual. Not more than anyone else, but as well as anyone else. The seventh principle affirms and promotes respect of the interdependent web of life of which we are all a part. Each person is part of this web of existence. Each and every person, including you, belongs. While it's true that none of us is more important than anyone else or any other part of the interdependent web, each of us belongs and is a unique part. When a person doesn't honor their own worth and their own place in the world, how can they effectively extend that respect to others? Maya Angelou says, "I don't trust people who don't love themselves and tell me, 'I love you.'" And there's an African saying, which is, "Be careful when a naked person offers you a shirt." The airlines teach this idea with words familiar to many of us. Should a drop in cabin pressure occur, put your mask on before helping others. Loving ourselves is putting our own masks on first. This is one of those things we all know but can still struggle with. So often our urge is to take care of others before ourselves. We want to go out there and transform the world because of our passion for justice and kindness. We want to go out and trust everyone else. But first, we need to offer these gifts to ourselves. One of the surest ways to teach a child to love themselves is to practice positive self-regard. But put on your own mask first. Love of self, knowledge of self, builds trust. Self-knowledge brings an appreciation for and recognition of strengths and weaknesses and biases. There's tremendous power in that knowledge. People who understand their own capabilities set realistic and achievable goals. I haven't always been good at that. People who don't have this insight tend to set unrealistically high or unnecessarily low expectations. And those who know themselves best also make promises they can keep and resist the urge to overpromise when they can't deliver. She says, I'm so impressed when I read about people who get up at 4:30 or 5 every morning and write for a few hours before going to work. That's definitely not me. Every once in a while, I think maybe I should try that. But I know I'm not going to sustain that. I know that about myself. I don't want to get up that early. I got up early for years and had to go somewhere I didn't really want to go. But more to the point, what's important to me is to ensure that I have a regular time for meditation and stained glass mosaics and time to create in a sustainable way. So I have added some free time. And let me back up here for a minute. My point, once I get back down here, my point is that having more insight into what is true for us makes it more possible to succeed. And I don't mean success by the world's standards, because those don't seem high right now. But the success that comes from looking within and finding that lamp that the Buddhists were talking about. The more that interior world is cultivated, the greater one's confidence. To know oneself is to discover what leads to happiness and wholeness, to discern what empowers us as agents of our own lives, and to learn how to be meaningful contributors to the world. To know oneself is to tap into that deep well of the soul. One of my favorite chants to meditate is Snatum Kar's Take Me In. And she sings, take me in to where I am and you begin. In the grace of thy heart, in the flow of this crazy, crazy life, I meditate on thy name, burning like a warm, warm flame. And with those words, she's invoking the holy within and without. To go inward is to connect more deeply to self and able also to the divine and others. The Buddhist teaching to be lamps isn't encouragement to be selfish or ruggedly individualistic. Luckily, none of us needs to do any of this spiritual work alone. And let's take that in for a minute. None of us needs to do any of this spiritual work alone. We needn't look only to ourselves. One reason that we gather in a religious community is to encourage each other on our spiritual journeys. Our liberal religion calls us to be lamps unto ourselves and lamps unto each other. So let us be our own confidence and also each other's confidence. Let us learn to trust ourselves and trust each other. May it be so. Amen and blessed be. And I'd like to invite you now into a time of meditation. Let's take a couple of deep breaths together. And put your feet on the floor if you can and sit as comfortably as you can. And I invite you to close your eyes. And I'm going to share a few of the words, repeating the words that Donna read earlier. And then let's take about 5 minutes. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here. We will make a space for it. We'll give it its due time and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains. Amen. Welcome back. And I agree with Lori. This transition is a little bit awkward to go right into asking for money, but it's a necessary part of keeping things going here. And I trust that you'll all be generous when the ushers wait upon you. As always, half of our offering goes out into the larger world. And this month, it's MUUSAN, which is the Maine Unitarian Universalist, what is it, Randa? State Advocacy Group. Okay, that's where it's headed. If you're watching online, there is a donate button that you can click. Checks can also be mailed to 60 School Street in Saco, 04072. Again, please be generous as the ushers wait on you. Thank you. Please join me in reading the words to extinguishing our chalice for the week. Oh, 8, my life flows on in endless song. May we remember that trust, like love, grows in small moments, in promises kept and confidences held, in boundaries respected and amends made, in showing up again and again and again. Patient enough to build it slowly, may we be brave enough to risk trust and be gentle with ourselves and others when it breaks. Amen. Amen. And I thank you for being a congregation that I can trust. If things don't go exactly in the order of service, or if somebody has to use a computer instead of the printed page that she's comfortable with, thank you. Thank you from my heart.
So we'll try my best. This is Let There Be Peace on Earth. I want to dedicate this song to a person here who has passed away.
Patrick? I'd like to invite you, if it's comfortable to figure out a way to do this, to join hands. Here. The hand in yours belongs to a person whose heart is sometimes tender, whose skin is sometimes thin, whose eyes sometimes fill with tears, and whose laughter is a beautiful sound. The hand that you hold belongs to a person who is seeking wholeness and trusts that you're doing the same. As you leave this sanctuary, may your hearts remain open. May your voices stay strong, and may your hands remain outstretched. God bless us all.
welcome. Thank you.